Greetings, fellow songwriters and seekers, and welcome back to Muse Measure. If you haven't done so yet, hit the guy in the lotus pedal down below, subscribe, benefit from all these great questions we're getting from viewers just like you. And please submit your questions either in the comments or you can contact me at tyler@musemeasure.com. So we have a great question from Max in Berlin, Germany. Fortunately, I've never been to Berlin. I was supposed to go once and missed a flight, but I'm going back to Germany in June. Maybe I'll get a chance to go over to Berlin. All right, so this is Max saying, for me, the interplay between improvised chord play and singing, I mean the process of making stuff up like a child playing with Lego or playing with sand at the beach, that process and that kind of flow state is just pure bliss. I totally agree. It's nothing like it. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite things about making music or just being a human being. I love it and enjoy it on the deepest possible level. Now, here's the thing. Almost every time I get into that state of careless improvisation, some cool song comes out, or rather some cool idea for a song. I often record the process with gibberish, nonsensical words, but later on it becomes extremely difficult to me to come up with actual lyrics for these songs. It's like my conscious linear mind does not know how to play along in this game. It almost doesn't matter what I write. It never seems right. It never seems to match the spirit and the imagery I felt when the music came into existence. Do you have any suggestions how to deal with that sort of disconnect? How do you get into the flow state when you are writing lyrics to your song ideas? And if you don't, how do you reconcile those two levels of experience? Thank you in advance. All the best from Berlin. Max. Wow, Max, this you're really getting to the core of the rub of the joy of songwriting and the frustration of it. So there's a lot to answer here. So first of all, if you have them separated, like your music writing, where you're improvising and you're making up gibberish lyrics, and then later on you're planning to write lyrics, well, maybe drop the expectation that it's going to be pure bliss. Understand that that pure blissful state where you were in the flow, that's not going to happen when you write the lyrics, and that the lyrics is the kind of the grunt work of it, where you have to really go through and find something that matches the melody, and matches the rhythm of what you were singing. And that can sometimes be very, very tedious, and it has been for me. Now, as far as getting into the flow of it, you can do certain exercises to help with that. So just doing like a page a day, or even, just set some goal for yourself. I'm going to write a quarter of a page a day, or have a little tiny little notebook that you carry around and you write for 5 minutes. So start this as a daily practice, writing this, and you just write stream of consciousness. Whatever comes into your mind gets down on the page, however fast you can write. Writers like Jack Kerouac did this for 3 hours a night, and then he would burn it. So it was some kind of exercise in getting into that flow so that his mind was at the level of a jazz improviser. That was his model for this. And that takes practice to get in the flow, especially with the words. So sometimes it's a little bit more intuitive to do it with music. Sometimes it's more intuitive to do it with lyrics. But either way, maybe one of them is a struggle. But you can get in the flow with words as well. Now, the way that I bridge it is when I really want to kind of have them both be in the flow is I improvise the lyrics and the melody at the same time. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have to go back and edit it later. I often have to, listen through it and go, oh, well, the melody kind of wasn't that great for this section. I want to spruce that up a little bit, or my lyrics are not that good for that, so I'm going to edit that. So there's still that editing process. It's very, very rare that you get a song just out of the gate where you're in the flow, the music's absolutely great and wonderful, and the lyrics are absolutely wonderful. It does happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I've had many moments like that. In fact, I have a group that I do improv with, and I am the archivist for it. So I listen to hours and hours and hours of us improvising. And some sessions, like 90% of it is gold, but the majority of the sessions, 90% of it is bad. It's just, or not even bad, that's the wrong word for it. It's just not, it's not in the flow. It's not, there's no, that genius, that sublime is not pouring through us. And so that doesn't make it to, to our final, stages of a songwriting process. So you just got to expect that. That's just part of the process, that's not going to happen. And if you're comfortable doing them at the same time, then that's great. Just do a lot of it, and then you'll get those moments. And maybe you'll get great musical ideas, but the lyrics are not there. Or you have a great a lyrical idea and the music's not there. So it's kind of a miraculous instance when the two merge and you get both in the flow. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, and it can happen. So the way you kind of grease the wheel with that is you do regular writing exercises, and maybe even you don't even need to write it down. You could just record yourself, just improvising, singing lyrics, or just speaking them for a certain amount of time a day. And you don't even have to listen back to it. It's just the practice of getting your mind into letting go of that editor that's constantly like watching what you're doing and saying, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, because that impedes the flow. The other thing is you can listen to your gibberish lyrics and do a mistranslation of them. And mistranslation is also another wonderful exercise that you can do. Mistranslation is when you take like poems in another language that you don't speak, you don't understand at all, and you sound them out, and your mind automatically is trying to make connections. So it's going to think that certain words in other languages sound like words that you know, or close approximate of them. And so this is a great exercise to do. Just find a book of poems or lyrics from an author who speaks another language you don't understand, and then practice translating that just by the sound of them. You're not translating it literally what it says. You're translating it just by the sound. So what does this sound like? An excellent example of this is my friend Tom Peters, who wrote a book called 100 Missed Train Stations. And this is a mistranslation of Neruda's 100 Love Poems. And it's a wonderful book. I'll put a link to it down below. And that's a great example of mistranslations. I know someone has done a whole mistranslation of the Chants de Malderar. So there's a whole school of this. Maybe not a school, but it's a long tradition of this. So you can take your gibberish lyrics and, what does it sound like they're saying? And I did this recently with this new song that I'm working on called Walking His Way. It was just like, wash it away. I just did some gibberish lyrics like that. And then as I was listening it back, I really liked the melody idea. I liked the chords. And I was just like, okay, well, what does that sound like? What do I hear? And that's a mistranslation of the gibberish lyrics. So you can still use that. Maybe it won't have the same spirit of flow, though. So if you're going for that blissful state where the two come together, you just got to expect that you're going to have hours and hours of where they don't come together. And then when they do come together, that's awesome. So let's just do a little bit. I haven't been doing that much lately, but so I'm automatically drawn to doing the D chord and finger picking, mainly because I don't have a pick. So do something different. What have you left behind? Except a sense of all our wasted time, the bicker and the fight, the shining of the night, as it begs my attention, calling me from the kitchen. And what will you make with all the hearts you break, and the gun that keeps a wrapping round my thumb? So that's just a little example. I wouldn't say that I was in the flow there, but that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do as a practice to get in the flow. Just keep doing it where you improvise. And it doesn't have to rhyme. That's the other thing. If rhyming comes naturally to you, or the idea comes, you saw there where I was kind of pausing there. That was me trying to probably think of a rhyme. So that's getting out of the flow. So if you want your lyrics to rhyme, then you definitely should practice, with rhyming. But it's just a skill like anything else. You have to practice it regularly. So maybe what's lacking in your practice is the adding the lyrics as you do it. And so it's fine. Maybe do some gibberish lyrics and then do some where you improvise with the lyrics. And if you're having trouble coming up with things, fill your workspace with like books of poems or texts that you can see. Even like grab an anthology of poetry, and you can grab little lines and little words to get you started. And then your imagination will get in the flow as well. So that's what I would do to get this happening for you. If you really want to take the improvisational approach to songwriting, which is really fun, but you got to understand that you're going to make a lot of stuff that's not that great when you do this method. And but it's something that you work towards, and then eventually your ratio of good versus schlocky stuff is going to increase, and things are going to get better for that. So yeah, do some daily writing exercises where you do stream of consciousness. Either write them down in a notebook or do it verbally, maybe even better verbally, because that's what you're going to be doing when you're improving. And then you can use mistranslation as a tool to take some of your gibberish lyrics that you really, really like the melody for and do that. And then lastly, put them together and improvise with singing lyrics and coming up with your melodies in the flow at the same time. And I can tell you, you can get there, and the flow is just as blissful when it's just music. The last thing that I would say is, if you're not really good at the lyric angle and you find it very frustrating, is find a songwriting collaborator who can take your gibberish lyrics and come up with something nice. That collaborator could also be AI. You could throw these songs into Suno and say, write me some lyrics for this, and see what it comes up with. Although I think it's not going to be all that satisfying. I've found that working with AI is not that great, except when you're using it for an avatar to give another voice, change the quality of your voice. I use it for backing vocals. So when I do a bunch of backing vocals, I don't want them all to sound like me, so I'll make it, be a R&B soul singer or a mariachi singer or something like that. So just to make the sounds of the voice change. But anyways, Max, thank you so much for this question. I'd love to hear how this goes. So please put it down in the comments what you think of this, if you find this answer satisfying, or if you just feel like I put you off. So, all right. If you guys found this video useful, please take a moment, hit the guy on the Lotus pedal and subscribe and like this video. Really help us get this word out to other people and help the algorithm know that this is worth watching. All right. Thank you all. Have a great day.